That is crispy. It does sound nice.
Crispy, yeah. This is like a song you that's in the background of a scene where you just want you got some ambitious things
got some
going.
Swag going on.
Some swag,
you know what I'm saying? That's a nice song to start out with.
Yeah.
It's a good little intro song.
So thank you, Drake Freeman, for opening up Little Wrist.
Go ahead, do it. Do it. You ain't been
Little
here.
Wrist, Big Fist.
Yeah.
There
You ain't
we go.
been here doing the intro with us in 2 episodes, so we had to get it in
Had to
there.
scoop them.
There it is.
But-
So, little notes on what we got coming up for this episode. Drake Freeman, and this is part 2, a little longer than part 1.
A little longer, a little more fun.
Yeah, it was, dude. We clowned. We talked a little bit about him writing his first song.
Yeah, and we also stumbled across Shredded, bro.
Freaking sick, dude. And you'll see what we mean if you haven't seen that. If you know what we're talking about already, then you're probably laughing with us. And I gave a large, strong shout out to Strong Body.
Strong.
I ranted, boy, for a long time.
You did. Good plug, bro.
Yeah, it was a good plug.
But it was
It's much needed, I guess.
Yeah.
You know?
And then we took an exploration through the sample deck.
Dude.
Yeah,
We
that
got
was fun.
And we pulled some more from this episode too, so you'll be hearing. We're getting better at our process. You know what I mean? Y'all are on this journey with us. So, next we had Bridgie McBridgeface.
Oh yeah,
Talked a little bit about that.
So if you're ever in Middle Tennessee and you want to drive over a bridge, go find Bridgie McBridgeface.
Is it really called that though, or no? Did they not get
There's
it?
a petition.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in the
But
podcast.
You'll hear us talk about it in the podcast. Hey, Anthony, do you want to say it? Come here and say it. Come here and say podcast real quick. Anthony's here with us. Dude, say it.
Welcome to the podcast.
You got to say podcast. Do your thick Chicago accent. You can do the welcome.
Welcome to the podcast.
Podcast. He's our favorite. That's why we do that. Thanks, bro. And story of my story being my Instagram story being part of Drake's morning routine.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And we also rolled into Dusty's new job and my new job as well. But man, Dusty's new job's dope.
Yeah, so if you want to take a second, just go to www.rukkusroom.com.
Squad.
And then we finally got into the origin story of the Drake Freeman.
Yeah, and his first gigs. Playing, I'm pretty sure he said for free a lot of the time.
Yeah.
At first, or for food.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Which is dope, you know. Everybody's got like a different starting point.
Yeah.
It was cool to hear his.
Yeah, and that led into the first time he recorded.
Yeah, and then also before the recording too, then he figured out how to one of the main things that I wanted to that I noted was that he actually figured out how to lead a band rather than, because as you guys will find out, he was kind of an asshole to begin with and didn't understand why people didn't want to be in his band or be in a band with him. You know what I mean? And one reason I emphasize that more than most is because I have that same problem from time to time. So I could really relate and resonate with that. And also another note that I had was the ridiculous gear list that's at Rukkus Room where you're working at.
Yeah, it's pretty fat.
I was like drooling on that part. I'll probably go back and listen to it again just because.
And if you ever want to test it out, just
bro, I'm gonna have to come by or something. I've got to rent some gear or something. I don't know if I can. Session.
You can rent
out of my range.
You can rent Studio B without an engineer for $80 an hour.
Okay, I might be able to make that happen. That's what's happening. Hey.
Bam.
Okay. Boy.
No pop filter.
You're good. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us for another episode of
Little Wrist, Big Fist.
And this has been good to have you back, Dusty.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
All right, enjoy the episode. Thanks for and
Shout out to
Amp
Entertainment,
Shaw Audio,
and Strong Body.
and Strong Body, boy. All right, thanks, guys.
So since we're technically at the beginning of another podcast, you can hit that little wrist action over there.
Little wrist, big foot.
What I'm saying.
Hold on, wait. Shout out to Red for this one.
I mean, I promise as soon as I get some money, I'm going to get some diamond teeth.
Yeah, let's highlight some new ones. Let's take that's
Thank
fun.
you, boys.
Yeah.
Thank you, boys.
Money.
Risque.
Oh, I love that,
bro.
Risque.
Hold on, wait.
Risque.
And then we have some.
I love it.
wrist, big foot.
Working at the local grocery store,
I don't know.
Grocery store.
But I'll tell you what, I want a fur coat.
I love that one.
Word. Have you seen the Shredded videos?
No, but
Oh my gosh.
Dude, we gotta show him the Shredded video.
Oh, you
How
can
much-
play it on here now.
How
Can't
much? Okay, all right. Talk about something for a second. I'm gonna get my charger real quick for my laptop because I got.
Is it about to be
I got
dead?
4%, and it usually dies at 5.
Okay.
So, give me just a second. We'll play Shreddeds.
Shreddits credits. Oh, it's like downstairs.
Yeah.
Okay, so we kind of touched a little bit on the songwriting. So what usually initiates like a song for you,
So
or how did the first song initiate itself?
yeah, so because I was gonna say, kind of now I just write because I know I should write and create new content.
Yeah.
So it started like the first song that I ever wrote. It just kind of started where I was like, hey, like I don't know, I don't really know what necessarily prompted it, but I was like, hey, I should write a song. Yeah, I was like, hey, I should like try to write my own stuff. Like I didn't really know about like chord progressions, verse, chorus. Like I didn't really know all that, but I just kind of based off of stuff I listened to.
Yeah.
You know, I could be like, oh, well, this song kind of does it, and that's like a chorus. And I mean, I knew some basic terms like that. You know, just, you learn them just from
Listening to music,
Yeah, being
and
around.
playing music, of course. Yeah.
You know, and playing at church, I kind of learned like, you know, they would tell me like, this part's called a verse, this is the bridge, or whatever. So it started out initially like, just, oh, dude, I should write a song, and I don't know, like honestly, being like 14, 15, however old I was when I like tried to write a song, 16. Like I was just like, oh, I should probably be angsty and talk about, you know, talk about my emotions. I should be like, oh yeah,
When did you start writing?
I probably wrote like I know for a fact I wrote a song. I don't know if it's necessarily good, and I don't know if I can remember it, but I know that I wrote a song that I played at my freshman year of high school's talent show. So I was probably 14.
Yeah.
So what I said
That's
earlier,
the year of the angst.
what I said earlier about like I think I wrote my first like song that I liked when I was 16.
Okay.
I think, to take it back, because I kind of forgot about that song until just now, like that I was talking myself through it. So the first song I ever wrote in my whole life, I wrote sometime between the time I was 13 and 14.
Okay.
But then I didn't write songs for a long time. It wasn't like a regular occurrence. I just happened to write this one song.
Yeah.
And I played it
Just
at
getting your toes wet.
and I played it at a talent show, and like I didn't know anything about like progressions.
How'd that feel, playing it in front of like all your peers?
It was really interesting because I don't know, like looking back, I was just
Somebody vibrating?
You?
Sorry.
No, you're good, man. Like I didn't know what people would think, because I didn't really know what to think, because I didn't know any other songwriters, you know? So, like, it wasn't like I had anything to compare myself to.
Yeah.
And it's not like I'm going to compare myself to, like, guys on the radio, because they were, like, famous
Yeah.
people.
And at that
like
time, you didn't
outreach.
realize that, like, you didn't think you were going there. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah. Like, I didn't really know what was going on. I just, like, played
It was
music.
still a hobby
and,
at that time.
yeah, and, like, I just thought, oh, dude, I should try to, like, write a song. So, I mean, I'm sure I could maybe find it somewhere, obviously. But, like, yeah, I was probably like, oh, I should talk about being, like, an angsty 14-year-old, and like my parents, dude, they hate me, dude.
Yeah.
My parents
All my
hate,
big
dude,
life
my parents hate me,
problems.
dude. They won't let me go out on a Tuesday night, dude. They're terrible.
Dude, I got a curfew and shit.
Yeah,
Like,
you
what
know, and
is
now looking
this?
back, I'm like, oh yeah, I guess that's not a big deal. I was 14, you know.
Yeah.
I'm like, what am I gonna do?
Big life problems when
Yeah.
you're 14.
So that would have been the first song I wrote, and like just nothing, you know, going into it. Like no, like oh, I should tell a story. I was just like, hey, I'll just write.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm kind of glad I can't remember that song because that'd probably like haunt me to this day.
You're gonna go to sleep one
It's
night
all
and you're
good.
just gonna dream of you playing that song.
Dude, I know, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, dude.
Hey, at least you don't have old beats in your iTunes library that you forget about when you put your iTunes on shuffle.
Oh my gosh,
Bro,
yeah.
I have
I'm
some
glad I don't have, like, old
trash. Dude, I have some trash on there. I've played some stuff for Dusty, and Dusty's like,
Bro,
what do you, dude, just next. Like, come on.
thank you.
Thank you, next.
Next, yes.
Let's see if the, I
Alright,
wonder if
show
this
me
audio
this.
is going to play through that.
That truck is freaking sick, dude! Oh! Shred it, bro!
Can't believe you've never seen this. Snapchats. Shout out to Nathan Williams, whoever he is.
Nathan_Williams7 if you're listening. Thank you.
2, 3, shred.
I like how his voice gets higher. Why is he so happy? What are these?
Dude. He said old school shred it.
Old school shredded, yeah.
Like, what is this?
Shred it trucks?
Yeah.
They,
Shredded, bro.
wait.
Oh, hey, I'm sorry, man.
So, what it is like when businesses like get rid of old documents and stuff, they shred all your documents and then
Right.
like get rid of it securely. That's what it is.
Okay.
And then this guy
dude's
just-
How
got-
securely is that? Like, they're literally driving down the road advertising what is inside of their vehicle.
Yeah, but it's all shred. How you gonna put that back together, son?
It's
They
Ran-
shredded
ransom note
documents.
they
style.
shred it, bro.
Right? I
Ransom note
guess.
style, go through every letter and
I
like, hey, this is
guess that's weird.
No.
But you know,
shredded, bro.
so he just got hype, like super hype. And my buddy, shout out to Michael Osborne, dude. He was like, he was like, oh, dude, I was gonna send you a Snapchat the other day because I saw a shredded truck, but I didn't know if you knew what that was. And I was like, no. And he sent me that video, and I was watching it one night in here, and I had it playing over the studio monitors, and Dusty and LB were downstairs, and they were like, "What are you watching?" And then then I sent it to them, and then they started watching it, and then now we get to enjoy it. But my buddy Michael Osborne, he'll find those trucks, he'll see him every once in a while, and now since you know about them,
You'll
when you
see
see
him,
one,
yeah.
you'll notice it, and
your immediate reaction
It's
is
shredded, bro.
yeah.
so
I'm gonna roll down the window.
So that's why we have that. Do we have any other new ones?
Okay.
All they're doing is screaming.
I love that one.
All they're doing is screaming.
I just like how the parts that you got were like so, like the vocals are so, there's so much inflection, like,
Yeah.
you know, like especially with like reds, like how it cracks on the teeth,
I mean, I promise. As soon as I get some money, I'm gonna get some diamond teeth.
like how it, I love it, dude.
awesome.
You like get people at their at their finest when they're just talking about what they care about.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
like, getting into it and stuff. And then this was during a recording session.
Money.
Freaking Austin Sawyer. He's so funny.
We should probably go back and pull something from his podcast episode.
Yeah, we definitely need to. And then
He
I have
said some
another
funny stuff.
one that he said, Young Gravy on the track.
Yeah.
And I just don't have, I export it as an MP3 and machine only takes the WAV files. And so I have to go
Really?
back and find, yeah. So I have to go back and, or maybe I can just convert it over.
Maybe.
I think, yeah, I could do that. I could do
Dang.
that. But still,
Still funny.
yeah. So that's how we get all our samples. So who knows what we'll pull from this one? We just will pull random shit. Like, because what we do is we go back and listen to it afterwards, and then we do the intro. So we like kind of talk about what we talked about, and then when we're doing that, we're like, oh shit! Like, I like that process now. Actually, Dusty, like when we take that now that we're talking about it out loud, like I like. Because we'll be doing a podcast, we'll be like, oh, we should took that as a sample or whatever. And we used to not go back and listen through everything.
Yeah.
We used to not do an intro. Did we?
No, we always did an intro, but it was like
It was basic as fuck, wasn't it?
basic. We just threw
We
on.
didn't go-
We threw on the deep voice, and I typed a quick
Oh,
synopsis.
yeah.
and we
So
let it
Dusty
go.
used to do like an epic intro. Like it was always like, we like changed the voice down. Yeah. Welcome back to Little Wrist.
Little
Big
wrist, big fist. Yeah,
We
but we
should
would
take
pitch
one
it down
of
with
those
auto-tune.
samples. We should take one of those as a sample.
We
too.
could.
Yeah. Little wrist, but he'd do it all like sexy.
Sexy.
Sexy. I was gonna say sexual or sexy, but I
Like a
said
1-800
sexy.
Yeah, see, like,
hotline.
I don't know about like where y'all are from. Like, so I'm from Atlanta, right? So a lot of radio stations, there's
Yeah.
like hip hop and jazz, and like you would just be flipping through like at 1 in the morning, and it'd be like V103 smooth jazz all night. You know what I mean? Like, it was awesome, dude. Like, I loved
That's
it.
exactly what
You're like
Dusty was
flipping
going
through
for,
like
I
at 1
think.
in the morning, like you just hear some deep voice.
And
That's
you-
like,
That's the
You're
radio
hooked.
voice,
and you're just
boy.
like, I'm like, wow. I'm like, oh wow.
Well,
Man,
maybe I do want
I'm
to
like,
hear some
wow,
deep
yeah,
jazz.
dude. Yeah, dude. What is this?
You could sell me a paper bag with that voice. I swear.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I love it. I don't know. I think
It's
people-
that radio voice, man.
It's that jazz bar.
That's it.
That's how they used to go and announce people at the jazz bars, and then be extra,
Oh, yeah.
throw in all the adjectives.
Dude, you could do that. You should look for a gig.
dude. I like. There's
that would
like,
be fun. I would love it.
not like as deep, but like, have you listened to on Justin Timberlake's 2020 experience? That girl. Do you know that song? It like opens up and it's like
been
this
a-
guy and he's like, all right, we got JT and the Tennessee Kid. Like, it's really
No.
hype. And like he goes in and he's just like, hey, what's up? We're JT and the Tennessee Kids. And then like they go into their song. Like, it's awesome.
That's cool. No,
Really, like,
I'm not
intro it.
familiar. I mean, I feel like I listened to it, but it's been a
Oh,
long
no, I'm a
time.
big
That's
J-
an old one, right?
Big JT fan. It was like on the first 2020. Like, it wasn't on the back half. It was like on the silver one, not the gold one.
Gotcha. I didn't even know there was two halves, so
Yeah.
shows how much I know about JT.
He's
No.
the
Also,
Yeah.
y'all should check out. Speaking of JT, y'all should check out Justin Timberlake and the Tennessee Kids on Netflix. That is amazing.
Movie?
It's
obviously,
just a video.
obviously it's
Yeah.
Netflix. It's a movie, but like,
Yeah,
was
but
it like
it's
a
like
documentary or what?
It's no, it's not a documentary. It's I mean,
Like a performance?
essentially, yeah, it's a
movie?
performance. It's kind of like what a Netflix special to a comedian would be, but for like an artist. But I don't know if they've really done. I don't think they've really done that for any other artists. Come to think of it, Springsteen,
I don't
yeah.
know if you watched his. I'm not a huge Springsteen fan, but like he talks through his songs, and it's like really
That's
cool. And it's like in a theater on Broadway.
So is it broken up?
No,
it's
a
like a
full-
continuous
yeah,
thing.
full
Like he's
performance.
talking about it on like
Oh, on
stage.
stage. Nice.
It's cool, and he's like, yeah, this or this. Like, it's really, really intimate, and like
That's sick.
that's a cool. But like, I think that's gonna be like that's like one of the next waves of ways
Dude,
people are gonna get their
yeah.
music out there.
And Justin
It's
Timberlake,
getting a Netflix thing.
his special
Okay.
was like really produced. Like,
Oh, really?
I think it might have been in Vegas, so it was just this massive
All
show.
out.
all out, dude.
Is it
And-
long? Probably like an hour and a half or something.
Yeah,
Nice. Nice. Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
cool.
I'll check that out. Because, you know, I got that fire steak, boy.
yeah. What I'm saying.
Do we have so many now that, like, I don't
You're
know.
gonna
I
have to
still
get
go to that
two,
one.
Two.
Oh, I got a
two
bunch.
shows.
I got these, like, Rick
Huh.
Ross. and
I
Bob-
forgot.
It's lit. I got all these, and we still got the,
You need to get
we got, like, Deep Tropic.
you need to get a couple of you doing like what's happening in it.
What's henning in it?
That's
Yeah.
what you need to get one of those.
I forgot
And you
about
need to
that.
get one of you going strong body.
With your strong body, boy. Oh, yeah. Speaking of, I can't believe I haven't done this yet. I was going to do it earlier, but
Yeah.
it's totally going to throw us off. So, Strong Body is a local supplement store and nutrition store here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
The burrow.
And our podcast is now sponsored by Strong Body. And as I like to say, strong body, boy. Get
And
your
boy, is it strong.
body. You know what I'm saying? That's what's happening. But, yeah, shout out to them. Those are the real OGs over there. They're some homies for real.
Yeah, and how long have you been, indulgent over there at Strong Body?
Dude, I've been going to Strong Body I've been here for 5 years. I think I've been going there for 4. Because after I lived here for about a year, I was working with some guys at Coke, and the original reason I think I heard about it was because they told me about this supplement called Mutant Mass, and essentially it's like a shit ton of calories in one drink. You know what Mutant Mass is? And
I've never taken it, but I know exactly what
and
it
it's
is.
supposed
Weight
to
gainer.
make you shit like a horse.
Yeah.
And bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like weight gainer, and like I think it's of course probably packed with protein and shit, but it comes in like a dog food bag. Like it's huge. And that I mean I've never had it, but that's what I heard about, and at the time I had like zero money to be spending on supplements, but I went in there with like this is why I originally went to Strong Body. I went in there with probably like $100 that I didn't need to spend, but that was like how much I was willing to spend. I walked out there and spent like $40, and I was like, what? Like I was gonna go in there and get like a bunch of protein, a bunch of shit that I probably didn't need, and I talked to the guy for like an hour, and I was like, I just left with a bunch of knowledge and saved $60. Like, this is sweet. So then whenever I did have money to spend on supplements, I'd go in there, and actually, funny enough, it's the first place I heard about Bang. And they had the first. Have you ever had champagne?
Yeah, man.
So
Dude,
champagne was the
to
first
me
flavor
tastes
I
like
had.
bubble gum.
Okay.
The champagne Bang tastes like bubble gum.
I think I got that
Has a
too.
bubblegum taste.
Yeah. It doesn't taste like champagne. If you've ever had champagne,
No.
don't think that the Bang is going to taste that way.
No.
It's much better.
Yeah, it's sweet. But the first time I ever had that was in there. And then I also I think I got like a pre-workout or something in there. And I just felt good about like spending money in there. And then also you can go and like over the years, like I just I got in and out of working out. And then when I started working out heavy again, like the past year, I started going in there like all the time. And then I would go in there. They got like a table in there now, and it's like a totally upgraded from when I first went in there. Shout out to Mark, because he owns the place, and like he was the guy that I first talked to. He got this long badass beard. He looks like a savage. And we go in there now, and like you can bring food in or whatever and just like chill. And like I could post up my laptop, do some work or whatever, kind of like a coffee shop deal.
Yeah, it's an experience.
But it's with the dudes, and like and it's not everybody's in there. It's not a bunch of meatheads. Now there are some meatheads that go in there. Don't get me wrong.
Naturally,
right?
Yeah, sure.
But there's also like just normal people that go in there and are just they're just friends, like, and they're probably into working out, and then that's why they originally go in there, and then you just end up becoming homies with them, and like. You know, like Dusty's been in there. Daniel went in there recently and bought some supplements. And we just chill, like kick it and like talk about, like, I don't go in there and just talk about like health and nutrition and stuff. I go in there and talk about life stuff.
Yeah.
Like just super cool. Like,
yeah.
A lot of times when I was like having a super bad day or something, and like I couldn't really do anything else, I'd just like go to the gym. Of course, it makes you feel better. And then I'd go over to Strong Body and just chill and like kick it. And just like kind of like get shit off my chest or whatever, and I just became homies with them. And then I talked to Mark, was it today or yesterday, and I was like, yo, like, because I got to deal with them. If anybody doesn't know, I'm sponsored personally by Strong Body on Instagram. So I was like, yo, like, would you be interested in sponsoring the podcast? And he was like, if you would be interested in letting us sponsor your podcast.
Yeah.
And I was like, what, dude? Come on. Yeah, let's get it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, new sponsor of the podcast. Super proud of that.
And for the folks who have never been to Strong Body, where would you tell them to find them? What is their location?
They are on Memorial Boulevard.
Yeah.
In
Close to
Murfreesboro.
Close to like the new like overpass bridge there, right?
Yeah, like right down the street from the
Bridgie
Mac,
McBridge face.
from the
Yes.
I told you.
I'll just kick the camera.
I told you I retain like really weird shit. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you remembered that petition.
Yeah.
Yeah, for other folks who don't know Murfreesboro, there was a petition for this new bridge to like name it, and somebody wanted to name it Bridgie McBridgeface.
And it actually got a lot of.
And
I
they
thought
got
you
a
were
ton of
just
votes.
saying that.
No, and they didn't name it because you know how.
You can't do. Yeah.
Well, you just know how people are. They're like, we're not gonna name the bridge, but they should have.
I thought people adopt highways. Why can't you name a bridge, bro? Come on. But anyway,
I mean, that's the perfect name for a bridge, and
Bridgie McBridgeface. That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
for them to pass that opportunity up, that's on them.
Slipping.
That's on them.
Straight slipping.
It would have been famous.
No, it would have. It would have gone totally viral, and then like people would have been like, "Dude, Murfreesboro is lit.
We
Like,
gotta
they have
go
a-
see
they have a
Bridgie
bridge."
McBridgeface.
You know what I mean?
People would drive there just to take a picture with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like,
People on
oh,
their
we're in
social
Nashville. We
media.
might as well shoot out to the borough. See Bridgie.
Bridgie McBridgeface.
See good old Bridgie.
Oh my
man.
goodness.
But yeah, from first songs to Shred It to Strong Body, so we're making good headway.
Yeah.
on
Hey,
this
support
second part.
support local business. Support
that's
small
right.
business. Hey,
That's right.
that's
and it is a
that's
real.
what it's about.
That's the other thing that I will say about it is a real locally owned business. It is not a franchise. It is a locally owned business.
Yeah,
It's
do
dope.
it. They're always good people.
Yeah,
They have your best interest in
Facts.
mind.
Yeah.
They're just
The best intention.
Yeah, I can't say that enough.
yep. So that's why I continue to go back there. And now I'm like in there probably every other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my shit.
Y'all got to check out Moose's Instagram. He's always posting up on those stories.
I appreciate it, man. I try to say scrum on my story.
Dude, I like that is part of my daily routine. Like we kind of talked about this before. But like I get really hype when like I see you post a new story because like I know one of them is gonna be like a bang, or like you taking supplements, or like Alpha Brain, or you being like strong body.
Something
You know?
entertaining. It's entertaining
Like,
for you?
dude, yeah,
Okay.
like the
I like
hashtag
that, man.
eggs.
Dude, hashtag eggs.
Yo, hey,
bro.
if you're not eating eggs for breakfast, like
You're slipping.
you're slipping. You got to get that protein in early.
That's right.
Notice he said eggs.
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 It's
Eggs.
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 Come
You know,
on,
that
man.
just sounds like.
Listen, it was never emphasized, and it's Austin. It's all Austin's fault. He called me out. He was like, "Why do you?" He was like, "What do you say you eat for breakfast? You say you eat eggs?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Dude, it's eggs." And I was like, "Dude, I do say it wrong." I was like, "Now it's
Capitalize.
correct. Now for me, that is correct.
Capital
it's
A.
eggs." And he was like, "What do you call them? Legs?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do." And now it's just like a thing, like. And whenever I hear somebody
There
else
is
say,
no E in the English
whenever-
language for this guy.
whenever I see somebody else say eggs, is that how you say it? Eggs.
Just the E sound.
Eggs.
Eggs.
Whenever I hear somebody else say eggs, I get hype, bro. I get so hype. My dad
dude,
says,
what'd you just say?
I'm like, dude, say it again. And they're like, what? Eggs? And I'm like, yeah, dude. Eggs, dude.
But yeah, dude, I like it's like part of my daily like routine.
Well, I
Like I
genuinely
get
appreciate that.
hype. Like I love it, dude, and I love how you're like always in your car, like going to work. Like you'll literally be like posting up right before you walk into work, and you're like, oh, gotta get my strong body
That's
before
right.
work.
That's right.
Like I love it, dude. Like it's just like I don't know,
That makes me want to post more.
dude. Like it's just like I don't know. It's like one of those things like, hey, like I know what he's doing today.
Yeah.
Some people are weird about it too. Like, I don't know how y'all feel about social media, but like, I am one of those people. Now, it might be different down the road, different points in my life when I got other things going on
Yeah.
that are super personal. But to be honest, like, one of my favorite parts of just about being a person is like being super transparent. Like, I don't like to bullshit. Like, if I didn't think that, like, I've done it before, but if I didn't think that it would like really like get on people's nerves, I'd probably post stories while I'm on the shitter. Like, I really don't care. Like, I just like people to know what I'm doing for
Yeah.
some reason. Like, I like to then that way it like gets me conversating with other people in different ways. And
Yeah,
like,
it's always a conversation starter.
yeah,
Yeah.
Like
yeah, definitely.
you know, it's like, hey, dude, you didn't eat your eggs today.
Dude, I have people
You know?
that do that.
They're like, hey, man, you didn't eat eggs today. What's going on?
Yeah,
you okay,
like,
man?
what's going on?
You feeling all right? You
'Cause,
know
like,
what I mean? It's like,
last week I was running kind of low on sleep, and I had really light meals to start off my day because sometimes when I eat a big meal and I haven't had a lot of sleep, it kind of weighs me down first thing in the morning.
I get that.
And then also, to be real honest with you, like, I'm on a test booster right now, and it don't hit as hard when I when I eat a lot of food. So I'll drink like protein shake and have some almond milk and maybe have some toast, and then with like a bunch of butter on it, and get that high fat breakfast in the morning, and then like drink a bunch of coffee, and then I got my supplements and I'm good to go. Like,
Yeah.
But we about to skirt on that job. I'm about to start a new job. So.
Yeah.
And actually, let's talk about
What I'm saying
about Dusty's new job, because
yeah.
this man's about to be a studio manager
What I'm saying.
at Rukkus Room.
Yeah, Rukkus
How
Room.
excited are you?
I mean, man, it's not really hit me yet, to be honest.
Nuts on that.
Thanks, dude. It's not really hit me yet, and it won't hit me until like first day, and I think that's when it's gonna really set in. But like when I found out,
I've never Googled it either.
when I found out, yeah, go check him out. Look at that discography. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Well, is it on the screen?
Should be.
Yeah, let's check that
Rukkus
out.
Room.
It's in Nashville.
Are you? Is this it? Is this right? No. That's not right.
No.
It's RUKKUS.
RUKKUSROOM.
Yeah, right over there. Is there a website?
Yes, there is a website.
Boom.
Well, they don't have it up there.
There it is.
I will fix
Yeah, it
that.
said website. There's a button for website. No, I guess you
And you
click this to enter.
Yeah, and you click the logo.
So
Interesting.
you just got hired as studio manager. So what are you going to be doing? Like, what's some of the stuff that you're going to be doing?
Yo, they got your bio on here yet?
No, not yet. I'm gonna see.
Boy, these are beautiful.
That's one of my duties as a studio manager is to like keep the website updated. I'll do
Hey.
the social media.
Hey, you know what you could do?
What's
First
up?
off, you should retake that picture where there's not a freaking clusterfuck of a patch bay. Look at this picture. Go over. Look at this clusterfuck of a patch bay.
No, it makes you look like there's stuff going on, son. You have to. You know what my favorite part about this picture is? That damn
bullhorn.
air horn right in the middle. That's what's happening. They ain't fucking around in there.
Hey, go
You
take
better
a-
stay awake, son.
They have a gear list for each of their studios: Studio A, Studio
hey,
B,
pull
and
that
Studio
up.
C.
Pull
Let's
that
see
up.
what's up.
So what's their like claim? Like what's the biggest record they've? Okay, go to discography.
Yeah, let's go to discography.
I want to see like what their biggest like record is.
Do you?
Thomas
Thomas
Rhett,
Rhett,
Justin
wow.
Moore, Brooks and Dunn. Dude,
Oh, hey,
that's-
that Billy Currington record is great.
So
that
that
Jared,
was recorded
that
there.
Jared Neiman one is
The
great.
first Taylor Swift album was recorded there.
Oh, that Justin Moore
I'm not
one
gonna lie,
is
I
pretty
played that
good.
on repeat when I first downloaded it.
What?
Taylor Swift.
Oh,
I
that's
loved
a
her.
great album.
But
that is.
Precious Memories, Alan Jackson.
Oh yes,
Yeah, it was
dude,
recorded there.
Great record.
Oh, load more.
Yeah, load more. Colt Ford. Hell yes.
Yeah.
Put me on. Who's that?
Oh, he's
Colt-
this country
He-
rapper.
Dude,
Oh my gosh.
he's like a country dude. Amazing. Not really, but funny. But he has some good stuff.
down the road with it.
I'm gonna add some. Well, I'll do it later.
Yeah, you'll have to look it out. Let's see who else though.
Motley Crue.
And that's not
Oh
a-
no, it's a tribute to Motley.
Hey, who's
Crue.
that dude? Who's that guy who looks like he could be in my band?
This guy?
Yeah,
CJ Solar.
he looks like a badass. Hey, Christian Bush. That guy was in Sugarland. The group.
Yeah.
Y'all
Another
like
Taylor's-
Thomas Rhett and Taylor Swift.
Our song. Oh, that's just a single. I'm guessing. Yeah, these are singles.
Jack Ingram. He's
Thomas
he wants
Rhett.
to like. He's like the look of like rip off Keith Urban.
Yeah.
He's like, like Walmart Keith.
That's
Urban.
a very good assumption. Yeah.
And then
dude,
shout out to
chill.
Ashton.
Yeah,
She
Ashton
used
was
to
the
work
Ashton
there.
previous.
Prosser.
She was the previous studio manager
And
there.
your
yeah.
picture's about to be up
Oh,
there. Was
so
it
you
Heading
stole, you
Board?
stole her job.
No,
No,
she
she
went back
actually-
to school for music therapy, which is
Oh, yeah,
awesome.
she wants to make money. I get it.
Yeah.
Hey, what about
But she's still writing though. I talked to her
hey,
the other day.
where did you say this the gear list was?
Imagine it'd be on studios.
You can gear list
Gear
right there.
list.
You can click that for each studio, but it's
Will you hear my computer? This thing is
that
It's
it?
cooking, dude.
MacBook Air,
preamps.
MacBook Lear Jet. That's what it sounds like. That was terrible.
Good try though. That's all right. Okay, so
See,
we
it's
got
kind of hard to read the
some-
text.
We
and I
got
wanna
tried.
fix that.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe it's because maybe it's how that TV's angled.
Yeah,
but
maybe
from my viewpoint, it's really
It's clear.
yeah, it's super clear. It looks
Sweet.
good.
I like how y'all run a
Um,
Focusrite preamp.
Trident, Universal Audio, LA 610. Chandler Limited EMI channel strip. Okay, that's nice. I don't know what those are. Joe Meek British channel, the VC6Q. Not familiar, but they got it's Tube Tech, CL1B. They got the LA2A.
And I have no clue what any of that is.
Now you do. Like LA2A is a super super popular compressor. I'll just name like some of the like really popular stuff. Okay, SSL G series bus compressor, 2 different ones. The G384. Jeez, I can't even read numbers. X Logic G series bus compressor. Those are good bus compressors. LA3A is a great bus compressor.
Look at the software down there. That software dog.
Let's see what kind of equalizers they got.
Full suite. Oh, that's pretty
The
cool.
GML 8200 is good. Software. Okay, we got Machine. We got Complete. Dusty, will you tell them to spell it with a K, please?
I will spell it with a K.
You get to do this.
Yes.
Oh, dude, this is gonna be swaggy. You're good at that stuff. Melodyne, like Sound Toys, Slate Trigger. You guys know what Slate Trigger is? So it's like it's Slate's drum plugin, and you can do, and also you can like say I play some really mediocre drums, and the recordings suck. You can go in and like put the snare track in there, and then it'll replace it with a new sound.
Oh, wow.
So that's what like triggering drums is, and I can set that up like on my rig, but I don't have the actual good software for it. There's a few different versions, but Slate's version I've heard is really good. The full suite of UAD plugins, huge. That's huge. Full suite of Waves plugins, huge. Okay, they got some Genelec monitors. They got 3 pairs of them. They got NS10 monitors.
And this is Studio A.
Q8 monitoring system. A monitoring system, I'm pretty sure, is what we were trying to talk about earlier.
How many studios are there?
3.
There's 3.
ABC.
Yeah.
And do they all have like the same, like that's like in this, that's in like the
They have an
control room.
API console.
In the tracking
Yes.
room, like
With
do they have all the same
96
gear in every tracking room? But like every control room is different?
Yes. Every control room is different.
But all the tracking rooms have like the same mics, the same.
Yeah.
Like it's not like A is gonna have this mic, but B and C won't.
You can
Yeah, I
probably
think-
interchange
yeah.
them. Yeah, I imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They probably don't have multiples of all of them, I would guess.
I mean, I'm sure you have
even-
like I'm sure like if you have this much like control room gear, you have great tracking gear. But
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
They
And they
an
have several
API
sets of
with
drums.
96
and-
moving faders.
so like
That
what
is
kind of
huge.
backline equipment is already there? It's like a drum set,
Drum set, piano.
bass rig, or like are there any amps?
Yeah. There's amps.
Guitar
yeah,
amps.
Yeah.
At least?
Um,
That's pretty cool. Like
They
I
got
don't know.
the
That's like one of the
Lexicon
things that I
Reverb,
always
boy.
loved. That's one of the things I always
Oh,
loved
look
about.
right here.
Oh,
Look,
perfect.
look. Boom. Guitar amps, are those any good? I don't know about them.
The Princeton is a good amp. I don't use it. I mean, it's a 64 Princeton, but like
That's
the deluxe
old.
reverb, dude,
Fire.
on that older EP.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the like rhythm tracks I played, I ran through a deluxe reverb.
Cool.
okay.
Like it's just a great amp for like especially
Ludwig
if you-
drums are great, right?
Yeah, Ludwig's
Yamaha
good.
Maples, I've seen those. Are beautiful.
I don't personally like.
Oh, they
Tama
do.
or
They do
Tama,
have
however you wanna
guitars
say.
as well.
They have guitars there. Wow. Oh, dude, the
1975 Martin
Rickenbacker.
D. Stratocaster, Telecaster.
That John Lennon reissue is okay. He has a reissue that's an acoustic
Yeah.
that they like put a volume knob on,
Oh.
and it looks really like kind of janky, but it's cool. But the electric
It sounds
is not.
like it looks funny.
It looks
Like an
funny, but
acoustic
it's like
with a volume
Yeah.
knob.
but it's like it's like on the guitar. Like instead of like most acoustics have like a panel like
Yeah.
up here,
Yeah.
but it's like on the guitar. Like it's like a Gibson style volume knob.
Okay.
On
Here
the
we go
keys,
with
like,
the-
it looks
with
funny.
the microphones. Okay, I know about these.
Norman
U47,
I know all those. Yeah,
the
sure.
Audio Technica 4050,
A TLM 103.
Shure
great
Beta
mic.
57.
I can't tell you how many times I use that mic.
What's that?
A TLM 103.
Yep,
Great mic.
yep. Great. Use it on anything other
It's a
than
very
vocals.
wide mic selection.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
MD 421s. They got those. Yeah, they got of course, a bunch of
AKG, I've used
58s,
that.
C414B. D112 and D12.
I've used those.
Nice kick mics. C38. I think I want to say that Sony. It might be this. There's one that's super.
Knowing, this is like a sidebar, sort of, but like knowing audio gear is like knowing music. Like you just can't talk about it with everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's
Yeah.
probably people who are like, what does this mean? What is a TLM 103?
They probably think we're reading off SKU numbers or something.
Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Just like somebody doesn't have to tell me that, like, if somebody's just like, oh yeah, hey, a 57. I know they're talking about like a Shure
Right.
57 that's like you would use on like a snare or like a guitar amp or something. Like,
Yeah.
you know, but like if you just went up to somebody like, dude, hey, have you ever used a 57? They'd be like, 57 what?
$57.
But yeah,
But,
they got a bunch of
Dude,
stuff
that's
there,
a
man.
killer selection. That
Yeah,
is
it
cool.
That's great.
That's awesome. Like that's one of the things. Oh, that's what I was gonna
These
say.
studios are beautiful.
One of the things
too.
I loved about like recording at MTSU studios was like all the gear that they already had there.
Yeah.
Like for me, that
Look at
was like
that.
really convenient that they had like, yeah, like they would have a drum set and they would have like a Marshall amp, like big Marshall amp and stuff. Like that's so convenient because you got to think
Those
a lot
are
of
sweet looking.
people
those clear
may not
gold-looking
have
ones.
that stuff,
Yeah.
which is like cool that like if you're gonna pay for studio time, like at least
have
the
stuff
studio
to
can
use.
provide you as much as they can give you,
Yeah.
at least everything you need. You know,
Yeah.
that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's sick. Super dope, dude. So congrats, Dusty.
Congrats,
Yeah.
man. That's
Yeah,
killer.
you're gonna
Yeah.
have a good time, man.
We're gonna have
I'm
to
very
come by and
excited.
visit.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Say hey.
Say what's happening. Say what's happening. Oh man, so that's gonna be a whole new experience for you.
Yeah, dude.
And you start. So today we're recording this. This is gonna come out on
On the day that I
Monday.
start.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this will come out. What do you know? What the date? of that
February
is?
4th. Yeah.
February 4th. So when you guys are listening to this,
Gosh,
hopefully,
wow.
this man is gonna be starting his new job, and then later that week, I'm starting a new job. It's not
Yeah.
nearly as exciting.
Well,
but for me, it's exciting because
It's a life step. That's
for two reasons. I get a company car, and it's Monday through Friday.
and we're both getting a new job in the same week.
That's right.
Ooh.
And so we're gonna be on a good we're gonna be on the same schedule
Same
too,
schedule,
pretty
yeah.
much. So
Which hasn't been the case for a while.
dude, that's one of the hardest parts about getting you over here, Drake, is
I
like
know.
the schedule. And then it wasn't only me and Dusty having to match up schedules, but then us finding a day first between us two that would work.
Yeah.
And then
I have to be free.
yes.
Yeah,
So
It's a lot, but hey, when-
thanks on short
It's
notice.
so much
too,
worth
getting
it.
over here.
Yeah,
I
hey,
appreciate it.
thank you guys for having me. Like,
Dude,
it's
absolutely.
fun. I love podcasts.
Yeah. Have you ever done a podcast before?
No, I haven't. I've done stuff like sort of like this, where like people have like talked to me about my music.
Yeah.
Like my kind of my what'd you call it? The come out story.
Your backstory?
backstory.
Yeah.
Origin story?
Origin story. That's what
that's
you
it,
said.
that's it.
Like I've had stuff like that done, but like never like a podcast where it's just like free form, like we're
Yes.
talking and
Yeah,
we
yeah.
kind of go in and out of like kind of what what the question is and what we want to talk about. Like
Yeah.
I've never done something like that that's been like recorded.
Yeah.
I've done that with like friends. Just
Yeah.
like you're talking and you go.
And
on
it's always cool to
tangents.
listen back to, like when Dusty and I just sit and bullshit and do a podcast or something like it, and we have like some specific stuff we're talking about,
Yeah.
or even like going back and listen to old stuff. Like it's cool because you're like, oh yeah, I did do that, or like, oh yeah, that's how that went, or like you get to almost look at it, listen to it as if it's not you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's really cool.
Yeah.
Like, it's
It's
something
real-
that you'll have forever.
Yeah. And you'll notice that hearing it back, like it is almost like you're not listening to yourself really, because you're listening to the information. You're like, oh really?
You're like, wow, this guy seems cool, man. I should meet this guy.
You should go listen to his music.
Yeah, I should go listen to this guy's music. I wonder where he's from. And then I'm like, wait a minute, that's me.
We've got up to about the point that you started playing. So we got about 16.
we got to the bird.
Yeah.
We got
Okay.
to we did
Yeah.
get to you getting to the borough.
Yeah, I
Right,
mean,
we kinda
loosely, we're piecing
loosely,
it together.
Yeah.
So like
We're-
from writing your first songs, I guess you were starting to play out, and then writing your first song. So when you got here, what were you doing with music? Was it still obviously it wasn't what?
What's the transition from hobby to?
Great question.
Yeah, okay, so
And
So
then
that-
we can go to that.
yeah, so that kind of I can kind of
All
get to
means.
both of those. So I played at my dad's place a few times, and one of the guys who worked there, he was a cook. Like, he was like 4 years older than me. So like he had like just graduated high school, so he was like 19, and I was like 14 or 15, like, and he played drums. And so I was like, hey, man, like, we should play, like, because he was like, hey, I really like the songs you play, and, like, you're pretty good for, like, a 15-year-old. Like, you know, like, he knew I wasn't, like, great, but he was like, hey, you're a cool guy, and, like, you're good for your age.
And plus around that, you said around that area, there wasn't a lot of people.
Yeah, there wasn't, like, a ton. There was, but, like, there wasn't. It's kind of, like, this weird line of, like, there were a lot of people who played, but there was nobody who seemed as, like, interested. Like, I didn't have anybody around where I was from who I could be like, yeah, dude, like, this guy's making it. Right. I met some people as I got older because I kind of where all goes. Like I finally kind of dove into the music community. But like when you're an outsider, you don't really know people because you don't meet people who
navigate
introduce you to this guy and this guy and this guy. And oh, hey, you should. Hey, here's this guy's phone number. Hit him up. You know, like, that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Like just early on.
Right.
It's more you have to. So anyways. So I played with this guy a few gigs. Like we would just do like a Black Keys setup. Like I was on guitar and he was on drums. Like no bass player.
Sweet. Okay.
And it was fun and it was cool and like we just played covers. I still didn't really have any originals.
Yeah.
But so I did that and then I started playing like full-time gigs and I played like my first like real like legit 3-hour gig where like people came out to
goodness gracious. I could never feel 3 hours, man.
I take breaks. Like I started out taking like I would play like 45, take a break, 45, take a break, and like you know over time like you learn more songs and you know it's like something you get better. But like I started at this little pizza place in my hometown, which is Lawrenceville, Georgia.
Okay.
And it was called Cosmo's Original Italian Pizza. It was this little hole in the wall, best fucking pizza I've ever had. And dude, I'm sorry to talk about food again. Dude. So that's where I first started playing. So I started playing there like I'd play like every Thursday night or whatever. You know, like, hey, this day every week I'm playing here. Like, come out.
That's cool.
Whatever.
Yeah.
And so like that got me like a fan base loosely of like people from around who were like, oh dude, that's cool, you play. And they would start saying, hey, do you play this song? And I'd be like, oh no. And I would be like, well, hey, come back out next, I'll learn your song before next week. Okay. So like it got to a point where I was like learning like 1 or 2 new songs a week.
Yeah.
Just because like it was the same people and they would come back out if I would like learn the song that they wanted me to learn.
Okay.
You know,
that's
and so
cool.
like it built,
that's a cool way to get,
and like built up my repertoire. So like till I got to the point where I could be like, hey, like I take requests if there's something you want to hear.
Yeah.
Ask me. And now like I can play a 3-hour gig and not make a set list. Because I can just start playing stuff and somebody will be like, hey dude, if you're playing this kind of stuff, can you play this song?
You're like getting two birds stoned at once. You're gaining fans and you're you know.
And I'm learning tunes. Yeah. It's great, dude. 2 birds, 1 pipe, man.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's
dude. Hot boxing and freaking bird's nest.
Dude, box hopping, dude.
Box hop.
Dude.
So that's kind of where I like cut my teeth, just like playing in front of people, and it was like just me and an acoustic. So like I really had to like learn how to entertain people by myself. Like,
okay,
it's not just like
so
strumming.
a lot of these gigs you were playing by yourself.
Yeah, it's not just like strumming the chords and singing. Like I had to make it like, hey,
at the
pay
pizza
attention
joint,
to me.
there wasn't room for drums.
Yeah, there wasn't room for a band. I think one time I had like a percussionist come and play like a cajon.
Okay.
But like that was way like after I got a better relationship with it, you know.
Gotcha.
And they were more chill about it and everything. Yeah. So, anyways, so I kind of started doing that, and after I realized that like, and I played there for free. So I kind of have to preface with that. Like I played there for free.
Yeah.
For like years. Like, and
Most
I would still
people do.
And I still, even when I started getting paying gigs, I would still book gigs and play there for free. Like I didn't.
Just the experience.
Yeah, dude.
Right?
I didn't want to like.
Plus, it was like your place.
Yeah, and like I don't know, like everybody has an ego, but like I have never had an ego in that sense of like, oh, dude, I'm too good for this place. Even now, like I have original music out, and I've played some really great shows. Like if I went back to my hometown, like I'd play there again right now.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem. Like it's not about how good I am or like money. Like I just want to play music and I want people to hear my music.
That's why it's good. That's why.
So,
that's how it's good. That's
the
only way that it can really be good. I think.
So, and so I was doing that for a while. Then I found a few other places around town that had music that would pay me to play, and I'd be like, hey, like I can do covers. I can play what people want to hear, like country and classic rock and a couple pop tunes, like. And I'll just and I can bring all my own equipment. Like, it was like this slow process of like Christmas would come, my parents would get me like a speaker.
Yeah.
And then my
Yeah.
birthday would be like a couple like a little bit later, and like they'd give me like a board.
And
Like
your
a
birthday's
soundboard.
in January.
Yeah,
right?
so like they were a
Okay.
couple weeks apart. So like instead of giving it all to me at one time, they would like
Yeah.
spread it out. Like, hey, here's this thing. And I'm like, oh, I can't use this by itself. A couple weeks later, I get the other.
That's cool.
You know what I
That's
mean?
cool, yeah.
So it's like this little process, and then like time would go on, and my parents would, be like, oh, hey, this is like an early Christmas present. Then when Christmas would roll around, they would give me like something else that would like go with that.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah.
it's like they really, I have to thank them like number one, because like
That's cool.
They
that
were,
they
like, my-
kind of were into like buying you stuff like
Well,
that. Too,
yeah,
'cause,
like,
when
when-
I got into audio, it's tough to ask for anything.
I mean,
for Christmas or whatever.
it's funny too, like kind of stepping back, like I originally asked for a drum set. I wanted to play drums, and my parents got me a guitar.
Were you pissed?
Wow.
Not particularly, like I wasn't
You can
pissed
be
as
honest.
much as
It's cool.
I wasn't pissed as much as just kind of like, oh dang, like I didn't ask for this.
But they knew.
Yeah, I mean they knew that I liked music because I already played piano.
Yeah.
But like
And you were you taking lessons when you got the guitar?
I was still taking piano lessons when I got the guitar,
Okay.
and like from the classical
Right.
lessons, and then when I got a guitar, I like left those and I started just taking guitar lessons.
Gotcha.
But, anyways, like, I just played around, and like I was pretty good, and like I kind of was always like, when we had people over, my parents were like, hey Drake, play them a song, like, hey look, like they were pushing me to like,
Hey, look at our child.
yeah, I mean to an extent it was like half of that, like, hey look, kind of like, here's a trick.
Yeah, but they also knew
But at
that
the
it
same
was
time,
helping you.
they
like-
also like were like, hey, you can perform in front of these people, and like if you're bad, they're not gonna be like, oh well, he's bad.
right.
Like they're gonna be supportive of like, hey,
It's
you
like
should.
building your confidence.
Yeah.
too.
So
Very forgiving
it was
audience.
it was a lot of that, and so like I got to gigging, and like the more I gigged, the more I met people, and like I got to where I was like playing every weekend, like Friday and
Damn.
Saturday every weekend at like different places around my like hometown, and I got hooked up with like some of the Mexican joints and like the pizza place and
Okay.
like just restaurants, like no like shows, like I was just
Right,
playing
right,
restaurant
right.
music,
Yeah.
and like I would be like 16 years old, 17 years old, like pulling up. Like right after
That's
I got a car,
respectable.
and I would like pull up to a restaurant, and I'd be like, "Hey, like I'm the music tonight," and they're like, "Really?" And they're like, "How old are you?" And I'd be like, "I'm 17," and they'd be like, "You're the music?" And I'd be like, "Yeah." Like, I don't know. I didn't think anything of it. Like it never,
Yeah.
never occurred to me that was so wild.
And then you're like, oh shit. People
And now
are
like
asking
looking
me this
and-
often.
yeah. Now like looking back, I'm like, wow, that was fucking wild.
Yeah.
Like I was 17. Like people were like, oh dude, yeah. Hey man, sorry, I got to work at Chick-fil-A tonight. I'm like, oh dude, yeah man, I got a gig, dude. It sucks.
Yeah.
I got work. Like, but I've never worked
That's
a day.
cool,
I've never
though.
worked a day in my life, so
That's
I
sick.
can't complain.
Yeah.
But it's a grind, I mean, it's
Oh,
so.
it's still work for sure.
So the more I did that, the more I kind of figured out, okay, this is what I have to do to book gigs. This is how I have to talk to people and get their information, and this is what people like to hear, and
Yeah.
whatever. Then I got to this roadblock of like, oh man, we don't have acoustic. We only have bands. Like I tried to shoot for the stars,
shit.
Yeah.
hit like a bigger place.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, "Oh, dude, sorry, man, we only do bands." And I was like, "Oh, okay, thanks." So then I'm like,
you don't have band.
"Yeah," I'm like, "Well, man, I need to have a band." So the first band show I ever played, it was me. On drums was a good friend of mine, John Winters, and on bass was a friend of mine named Grant. And Grant was not a bass player at all, but it was kind of like, "Hey, play this," kind of thing.
We
And he was-
need this piece.
yeah, we need this. And he was like, okay. And like he learned the songs. And our first band name was Red Light Go.
Red light, go.
Yeah, I thought it was the coolest thing. And we
I mean,
played
I
It's
mean,
not
it is cool.
horrible.
It is cool.
and we played a Cinco de Mayo at like a local Mexican restaurant.
There you go.
And it was like a big restaurant. We played out in their patio. And that was like my first band show
Red light, go.
with Red Light Go. And from there, like I just kind of had like different lineups of like people and like whatever,
Yeah.
and like it never really solidified, and just like it was kind of sporadic. And then my senior year of high school, like late into my junior year, I was like, dude, like I need to start a band
Yeah.
because like at
I
that
need
point,
something reliable.
yeah, and at that point I was like starting to be like, hey, I should put out original music.
Yeah.
Like that was kind of like my junior year, late junior year was when I was like, dude, I should, like I'm good at this, and now I've been doing this for like a year and a half of like hard gigging.
Right.
Like I know what I'm kind of doing now, and so
I think it's cool that you were gigging before you started writing songs.
Yeah, dude. Like I did not like I gigged
absolutely.
for like a year and a half before I ever like wrote a like song that I was like, oh wow, and like would play it out. And
Makes you focus more on the actual performance and like
Yeah.
what goes into playing a show rather than if you just start like you have your own songs and you like going in like I want these people to listen to me.
yeah, I
and
mean,
my stuff.
and I mean, it was kind of interesting too because, like, it's a process, and I'm like still learning because I'm a very like different type of performer. Like, I also play like I'm playing. I'm not just like the front man singer.
Gotcha.
And a lot of
Yeah.
and a lot of my stuff, like my original stuff that we play, like when we do a live show, like we're a rock band. Live, we are a rock band.
Oh yeah.
You know, you've seen us live.
Yeah.
Like, and that was a 3-piece. Like usually I do like a 4 or 5-piece band.
Damn.
Now, like
Yeah.
when we perform live, but like I tell people, oh, we're like Southern rock. I kind of have some country stuff, but like live, it's all just hits you in the face.
Oh,
we're
yeah.
gonna rock, and so it's like intricate. Like you have to know the song. Like I couldn't just have somebody sit in with us.
Right.
Like we have to rehearse and learn it.
Yeah.
So it's like it's this like interesting version of performing because like I have to play the song the way I want to play it.
yeah.
You know. And so anyway, so I got in and out of bands. I started writing songs. Like I was never like asked to be in anybody else's band. Like I was always the guy who'd like start the band
Yeah.
because like I was a singer and I was a guitar player and I was the one who kind of wrote the stuff.
Kind of how it usually happens.
And that's how it usually
I
happens.
guess.
I mean, I had a couple other friends who like would want to like get together and like I was asked to, like play with them, but it never kind of came to fruition.
Yeah.
So finally, like I started this band with Thomas Haswell, who was the guy who came up to MTSU with me. He was the drummer.
Okay.
A bass player named Jake Ingram, it's kind of funny how like life turns around, but he's actually my roommate now.
I
Wow.
feel like for some reason that name sounds familiar.
Yeah, you probably would have seen him like on my Instagram or like something. He plays with me
Okay.
now. He's young. When we started our band, he was like in 8th grade.
Oh wow.
He was like 12 or 13, and we were all like 17. Like we're way
But
older
he's
than
just
him.
good.
He was killer bass player.
Hey.
Like he was like he grew.
Don't matter. It was just like when you were playing out when you were
Yeah,
16.
and I
like, it just,
I didn't
you're
think
good.
anything of it because I was like, dude, when I was his age, like I wished people who were 4 years older than me would have been like, hey, dude, you want to jam with us?
Yeah.
Like it was the coolest thing. I
And
feel like
if
for
it
him.
fits, it sits. I mean.
Yeah, dude. And so like we had this killer band, and it was the drummer, him, and me, and a lead guitar player, who was like my best friend at the time. Like we played all the time and like always hung out. And he was like my first Trey Binkley.
Okay.
He was like the first guy who I was like, damn, this dude can shred. You know, like, and like he never really practiced. Like he never really. Yeah, that was him, dude. I wish I would have known that because I would have said that to him every time we went to solo. But
Dude, you need to send that to Trey.
I will. I will, dude. So like he never really practiced. He just like had this natural ability to be great. So that was like the
Good
first.
performer too.
Not as much.
Not as much
That
as
was like
good with his
that was like
instrument.
part kind of like to go off like that was kind of like a running joke of like my band was like he was like the guy who didn't show any emotion on stage like
But he's
Oh,
the
he's
lead
one of
guitar.
yeah he was like the lead guitar player and like would shred but like his face would be like I don't know where I am right now and like I don't really know what's going on
And
but
I
would
also
hit
might be kind of hungry, so I'm gonna
Yeah,
leave in 5
but
minutes.
like killed the song note for note killed the song
What
awesome
a guy.
but he would just be like straight face just like
That's just
and it was like a
usually
running-
you do not see that.
No,
with guitarists,
and it
man.
was like the running joke. Everybody would be like, "Dude, what's the deal with your lead guitarist?" I'm like, "Dude, I don't know, man. He just like doesn't do much." Like, like it never occurred to me to be like, "Hey, man, could you like?" I just didn't care. I was like, "Dude, he's good."
Yeah,
man.
it
Like, why
sounds good.
should-" I was like, "Why should I care, man? Like, we're good."
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was like we had that band and we played like one show. We played like this talent show kind of thing. We were like the headliners because we were like the only band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we like played the last
big
slot.
act.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we did that, and like that was my second band that I decided to name.
When was
What
this?
was this band name?
This was like my junior year, like late my junior year of high school.
Okay.
Like second semester. And I called this band the Georgia Knights, but like Knights with a K.
K. Yeah.
I I like it.
And
I mean, you didn't have bad band names.
they weren't bad.
The way
but
that your face looked
but they
before
were
you
they
even
weren't
said it,
bad,
I
but they're
thought
just
it was-
kind of like cringy. Like Red Light Go and the Georgia Nights.
Red
like,
Light Go sounds.
Red Light Go. I
it
feel like
sounds
that's a
angsty to me.
yeah. That
sounds
sounds like a good
Blink
punk
182.
band. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Well, it was
Exactly.
like a fight between that and Cold Fire.
Cold Fire's not bad either.
Would be a great metal band.
Yeah.
a
Great, like
a great metal
hard
band.
rock band.
Yeah.
But, so we were like we played this one show, and then like it just kind of like fizzled out because like nobody wanted to like go through that phase of like, hey man, we have to practice all these songs before we can play a show.
Yeah, it's
Like when you start a
it's
band,
a
it's not
lot
like
of
you start a
work,
band and the
man.
next week you have a gig. Like there's a process of like,
yeah.
Right.
you got to practice. So none of the other guys really wanted to like go through that phase of like, hey man, here's our let's sit down, let's pick a set list. And you know, I had inexperience, so I was a little bit too much of like a douche. And I'd be like, hey, we're gonna play these songs, and I'm gonna sing them, and you're gonna do this. And like, I wasn't like assertive as much as like an asshole.
Makes sense.
And looking back now,
I've had
I'm
that problem before
yeah,
too.
and looking back now, I'm like, man, I shouldn't have been that way. But it was
Yeah.
great because I'm the type of person who can learn from.
yeah.
So,
you
like,
you
I-
understood
yeah,
why
so
the
I
shit
don't-
wasn't working out.
Yeah, like I realized I was like, man, why didn't this work? Like I spent a lot of time thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
So time went by.
It's teamwork. It's not.
Yeah, dude,
You
it's-
guys listen to me.
It's not, and it's funny too because when we were like going through trying to pick a band name, like all talking together, like one of the biggest concerns was like, yeah, we don't want to name it after you, like me.
Yeah,
because, like, we don't want-
Drake Freeman and
Yeah, like we don't because
whatever.
they were like, we don't want the band to, we don't want it to seem like it's all about you and we're just playing behind you. Like we want to be a band, which I'm totally cool with. But at the same time, like I tried to argue, like, hey, like what are y'all bringing to the table? That's like so much. Like
was that with this band that
this was like with that, yeah. Like my argument was like,
man.
yeah, that's what I was saying. I was an asshole. I was like, what? I was like, what?
I
do you,
mean, good point, but the way
Good
that you
point,
sound
right.
like you're coming off
Right,
about it, yeah, it
right?
sounds really
Great
douchey.
point. Like, hey, I'm writing the songs. I'm scheduling the practices. I'm getting like, it was a good point, but it wasn't. That's not how you should go about it.
No.
Yeah.
It's very poor leadership,
Yeah,
and that's what makes or breaks a band.
Yeah.
Is like who is going to take that leadership role and
Yes.
do it correctly,
Mhm.
and
Preach.
like for me now, I think that's why I've been able to get guys to play with me for so long now, because I
'Cause you-
figured out what I did wrong and what I can do to make everybody enjoy their time.
So on that note, what are those things?
So, like for me, I have learned to have like almost no ego in a band. Like I have an ego, everybody does, but like when I'm in a band, like I'm just like, yeah, dude, hey, you know, like, oh, sorry, man, like I messed up, dude, hey, you know, like letting people know, like, hey, you know, if you come across as like, hey, you messed up and I never mess up, people don't want to play with you, dude. They don't
No.
want to be told, like, they want to be like, hey, man, next time it does this here, whatever. Like, it's just being able to communicate to people, like,
So
That's the biggest
communication
part.
is a big part
communication's
of it.
number one. Like, because I've had to learn different ways over the year, and like, you know, like people like Trey, like him and I are like really close friends, so I can be a little bit more like, hey, dude, like you sucked at this gig, or like you did really great.
Yeah,
Like it's different because me and him are like friends, and like he's not gonna like not.
he knows where it's coming from.
Yeah, he's not gonna like not want to play with me if I'm like, dude, that was bad.
yeah.
He knows I mean it. Like, but
Yeah.
with other people, if I don't play with them a ton, like I try to be honest
Yeah.
and tell them, but like it's just how you communicate it, because like I wish people would have done that for me.
Yeah.
Like I never got told when I didn't do a good job per se. Like I would just, the place wouldn't call me again,
Yeah.
you know, or like I wouldn't get a lot of tips or applause, but people wouldn't be like, hey man, like you don't sound as good on these songs, or this song, or hey, that's kind of out of your range. Like I didn't get feedback.
Yeah.
And like
so then you didn't know how to give
Then,
it.
yeah, and so like, but
Yeah.
then when I started getting feedback, like I would tell people, like I have a little group that whenever I write new songs, I send them like the first voice memo, and I'm like, if you hate it, tell me. Like,
Dope.
and once I started getting feedback, I'm like, okay, like I can handle this. Like this is how you should give people feedback.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So that's been one thing. So that kind of band, the Jordan Knights, they kind of fizzled out.
Yeah. I can
And I
imagine.
went a little, yeah. And it went a couple months like back to the old like just acoustic solo gigs.
Yeah.
And one Sunday morning, I was asked to play a church like gig with Jake Ingram, the bass player.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were playing together, and like it was a morning, like it was like for like a morning youth thing.
Gotcha.
So like we would play like whenever it started at like 9, and then we didn't have to play again until like the next service at like 11 or 11:30. So like
Right.
we went out to breakfast. Like we played, and then we left the church and like went and grabbed some food, and we were sitting there like me and him, and he was just like, yeah, man, dude, like we should get together again and jam sometime. Like he was like, yeah, dude, I really missed like jamming with other people because I don't gig out, so like I only get to play at church.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, dude, cool, man. I was like, we should just like find a drummer and like just try to get back together and like maybe like jam some songs, and like if things vibe out, we could like start gigging again.
Yeah.
Because like he never had issues really like initially with
Yeah.
my attitude or whatever, like, because he was just like, he just wanted to play, man.
Yeah, he was like,
know?
I'll
Yeah.
put up with this asshole. I'm just
Yeah,
trying-
dude.
I'm
He was just like,
trying
he was
to
like,
shred.
dude. Yeah, he was just like, dude, man, like, I just want to play, man.
Yeah.
Which is great, and and like he's still that way, and I really admire that. Like, I love playing with people who just like want to play.
Yeah.
So then I like just, it's funny how this happened because like I just put out this tweet, and I was just like looking for a drummer, and the drummer, the last drummer who's in Georgia Nights, Thomas, was just like, he sent me a text with like a screenshot of it and was just like, hey man, saw this and it tickled my fancy. and I was like, yeah, dude. I was like, let's jam next week. So the three of us started like jamming, and since it was just like three of us, we were doing like Hendrix
Yeah.
and like John Mayer trio.
Of
Like we were
course,
doing like
yeah.
blues trio songs, Cream, like bands that were trios. We were just doing their stuff because we could play them
Made sense.
just like the record, you know.
Right.
It wasn't like we were trying to adapt. So we got like really good, and we got this like set list kind of built up just from like jamming each week, and like we would have like a text and like, dude, hey, we should jam this song next Sunday afternoon when we get together. Like we should try to jam this. It's like really easy,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Like it just kind of became like, hey, we should just jam, and like we would learn new songs just because like we would think they'd be fun to jam, and so
It became more of a group effort.
yeah,
type
it
thing.
became more of a group effort. So then like I was like, hey, like I'm gonna try to get us a gig. Like I'm gonna try to get us like playing somewhere.
Yeah.
So that
Did your
band-
attitude change a lot from that band to the other one? And is that why the
Yes.
drummer came around?
yeah, like it just changed a lot, and like I was just more like, yeah, like I don't know. A lot of it is like outside of me as like a musician. Like I'm a lot more like, it's funny that I say this, but like I'm pretty like straight and narrow, which most people wouldn't think about me. But like
Most people don't think about musicians as straight. And
no,
narrow.
but like I'm pretty like just I'm like I want to get stuff done, and like I want to do this, and like in high school like I never did anything wrong.
just that's
Like
how you were.
just anything. Like
Straight
I was
edge.
just like a straight edge like good kid.
yeah, you were somebody that got on my nerves. in high
Yeah,
school.
dude, and looking back, dude, and like now, people like that now, like I want to beat the shit out of them.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like now, I'm like, damn, dude, that
Like you suck.
screw them, dude.
Yeah, there's this
like
kid I
no
went to
one,
high
like
school
dude,
with,
like
and
no
his name
wonder
was Mark.
nobody wanted to be around
There's
me.
this kid
dude.
I went
like,
to high school with. His name was Mark Simon. I'll never forget him. And
What
he
was his
just-
name?
Shout out Mark Simon.
Mark Simon.
Hope
We
you're
called him
listening.
Mark Seaman. And
Oh my
well,
god.
I did at least. The people that didn't like him. He's just pretentious,
Yeah, I did,
bro.
it is.
Like pretentious.
This isn't.
And like he sat like he literally sat in his chair like as straight as possible. Like it's just very like everything that you were supposed to do, this man did it. And he was like assistant teacher, like teachers
Yeah.
assistants and stuff.
Ooh.
And like it was also the fact that he did nothing wrong, and I knew he judged the hell out of me for being a hellion. So I was just like, dude, you're a douchebag. Like, whatever. You know, like lighten up, dude.
Yeah.
You know, like we would have not been friends.
yeah, no, and that's the thing. It's so funny.
That's
like,
hilarious.
yeah, I wouldn't have been friends with a lot of the people I'm friends with now because like they wouldn't have liked me.
You probably would.
Which is cool, like,
it's
kinda
you
cool,
probably
like,
would have been friends
we
with
can-
Dusty in
we
high
can-
school. He was a nerd.
Yeah, and like we can touch on this later, but like basically that like transformation in my like personality as like attributed to a lot of the songs I've written, because I've written a lot of stuff about like, hey, like I am the person I am because like I went through some like shit, and I finally figured out who I was and who I should have been from the beginning, and all this stuff. It's really cool.
So
like,
you started figuring that out towards like the end of high school. Then.
I started figuring that out when my relationship with a girl became more serious and she started telling me all the things about my personality.
Hey, they can do that for you.
Yeah, and it wasn't like
real.
like she was trying to change me. It was just like, hey, like I do like you, but like there are these things that like I just
kind
need
of suck.
I need to make you aware of that you don't realize.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of another thing is like I wanted to keep her around.
Yeah.
You know? And so like it was like very introspective of me, like, man, I should, you know.
So that helped take you from where you were with the band in high school. So this is like at the end of high school.
This is like towards the end of high school, yeah. So like we started this band, 3-piece, we were jamming like.
You still dating this
Blueston.
chick?
I'm still dating her, yeah.
Nice.
It's the only serious relationship I've ever been in.
Nice.
Shout out Tyler Moon if you're listening.
Why
She's
is
the
that?
bomb.
Oh, is that her?
That's her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Girl named Tyler, judge me, I don't care. Come fight me about it, I'll
nobody's
beat you
judging.
up.
My first kiss was with a girl named Johnny, so it's cool.
Dude, hell yeah.
And your name.
And my name's John. Yeah, it was
They were
weird. when we
John
dated.
squared.
Trust me, it was
But,
weird. when we
yeah,
dated.
dude,
So
like-
take us from about that time to around now.
Okay,
Like,
so
take us that segue from through the beginning
So-
of college and tell this is Dusty because we're not gonna stop this because we're on a roll here.
yeah.
But I gotta pee.
Great. So that band in high school, we got really good. I got us our first gig the day of my high school graduation party.
Okay.
So like I had my party in the morning, and
What time?
like 11 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
To like 3 in the afternoon. It was like, so I could go to this gig, because I'd booked this a gig. So I was like, hey, we have to do it during the day, so I can go play this gig that night.
Yeah.
And so we played this gig at this local bar called Kuzan's in Lawrenceville, where I'm from. And it kind of became a regular spot, and we had a big crowd come out. Because, like, I never had like a legit band show. Like, I had the Cinco de Mayo thing and some other, but, like, this was, like, my thing. And we, like, the more we talked about it with these guys, we actually decided that we should go by the Drake Freeman Trio.
Okay.
And that's kind of where Drake Freeman, like, was born, was, like, that trio
Yeah.
kind of thing. Like, that's when, like, it kind of came to life, like, oh, hey, this is
what it is.
this is what it is.
Yeah.
Like, this is gonna be, you know, who I am on stage. Like, you know, kind of like with Moose, and like he can talk about it when he gets back.
Yeah.
But like it's like a character. Like the person that I am, like just off stage and like hanging out and just whatever, is like Drake. Just
Yeah.
But when I'm on stage, it's like Drake Freeman. It's like a different vibe. Like I say things that like I just know it's like entertainment. So
yeah, and that you got to have that, otherwise, why are you?
yeah,
performing?
I mean, you do. Like, you know, it's like, I don't know.
Especially on the come up, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like you just have to do anything to like get people to like remember. You,
Yeah,
like, make
or
it memorable.
at least recognize that you're playing music.
Yeah, for sure. So I was just talking about like the character thing and how like, oh, you missed this part. So my band in high school, that trio, we settled on the name the Drake Freeman Trio. Even though they didn't want it to be like my name, they were like, yeah, that's like that.
They liked it. It sat.
They liked it.
Okay.
And that's like when Drake Freeman was born.
Okay.
And
Is your actual name Drake Freeman?
no, yes, no, but yes, it is.
Okay. What's your actual name?
So Freeman is like my middle name.
we've talked.
We've talked about this.
Yeah.
So Freeman's like my middle name. It's like a family name, and I
And then your last name, okay.
yeah. And so I'm not gonna tell y'all my last name because I want you to find me on Facebook. And but if you a real OG, you know my name.
Damn. That's real. I guess I'm not.
I know the letter
anymore.
it starts with. Can I guess?
Yeah, I mean you can. It's the letters that are on my personal Facebook.
Is it a V?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I know it.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
It's
you got it.
Vaughn something.
Ah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I forget.
But you're there.
Yeah, you're there. So Freeman is like
I'm an OG.
So Freeman is my middle name, and like it's funny because growing up I never really liked it because it's not like a traditional.
Dude,
like,
I swear
Yeah.
that always
And
happens.
it sits in a different place when that's a middle name.
yeah, and it's just like different. And I always really liked it, and like one of my aesthetics is like American flag stuff. Like I have American flag straps. My hat has like a bandana on it. I always
Yeah.
wear like red, white, and blue
Which is
stuff, or
pretty
I'll wear
cool,
like
by the way.
blue shirt and red shoes. Like it's just an aesthetic I loved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, just the color combination, like.
Yeah.
It's not. I mean, it is about like being like, hey, you know, like
American as fuck.
you know, because like I do country Americana shit. Yeah, I mean, part of
Yeah.
it's that, but part of it's just like I dug the aesthetic.
Yeah.
so I looked cool.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where that was born in high school.
Yeah.
And we settled on that, and we started playing this like local bar, and we got pretty good, like just playing like covers and playing at this place a lot, and like it just kind of became a regular place. And that was like my senior year, so like a little bit before, like when this band was starting up. So before we were like really gigging, I started writing songs.
Okay.
Like seriously, like, hey, I should write.
You were getting into it.
Yeah, so like I had like 5 songs when this band started. Like I just had like 5 okay songs.
Yeah.
When this band
Was it
started.
stuff that you guys gigged out or no?
And like we would gig the songs. I'd be like, hey man, like let's do these original tunes. Like they weren't great, but like we at least could say we had some originals.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like more pop country.
Yeah.
Because at the time, that's kind of what I listened to and like what people around me listened to.
Yeah. It's only natural that that's what you would write.
And like, I mean, I listened to other stuff and I still do, but like at the time I just kind of listened to, that's what I wrote, because like I figured, oh, that's easy to write.
Mm-hmm.
You know, GCD, like I was saying earlier.
Yeah.
And, you know, 3 chords in the truth kind of thing.
That's right.
And
3 chords in the truth.
And
I like that.
And I stole that from somebody, I don't remember.
So
yeah,
that,
yeah.
But anyway,
so
so we had those, and so we gigged those out, and I'm kind of like, my timeline's all over the place, but y'all are kind of getting the idea. So
yeah.
I had these songs and whatever, and so we were gigging through that whole summer, and you know, I was like, I'd graduated
This
high
is
school.
after high school.
Yeah.
You know, so we started gigging like middle of my senior year with this trio.
Yeah.
And we played a long time, and then that summer I decided like, oh, I want to record these only 5 songs I have.
It's an EP.
I'm like, dude, I have 5 songs.
Yeah.
That's, you know, like in my mind, I'm like, dang,
That's a
dude.
lot of
That's
songs.
great.
Do you have any means to record at this time?
And so I knew one guy who could like record from his
whole basket of eggs on this one.
on this
dude.
one dude who could record from his house. And I was like, dude, I got these 5 songs. My band knows how to play them, and like I can overdub a solo and like vocals and like keys, and like I can overdub stuff.
Yeah.
Like he told me that at the time I didn't know
he's
that.
teaching you what
But he's
this
like, hey, yeah, you can record the foundation of the song, and we can record over it.
Yeah.
Since it's on the computer. And
Isn't it like a?
yeah, and
it's
I was like, dude,
whole
I was like,
crazy thing.
Yeah, I
when
was
you
like,
learn
dude,
that.
cool.
Like,
Yeah, I was like, we can just play the song like we play it live, and I'll just skip the solo. Like I'll just play the chords through it. And he was like, yeah, man, cool, whatever. So we recorded like these 5 songs I had. They're not out anywhere.
Okay. I
So
was
don't
just
go looking
getting
for
ready
'em.
to ask.
Well, one of them is on Reverb Nation. It's called
finding
Ain't Your Train.
it. Okay.
But it had 5 songs. The first song was called Bonfire. It was about a bonfire.
Yeah.
Second one was called Ain't Your Train, which is about my granddad.
Okay.
Third song, I don't remember, but they were bad. Needless to say, they were bad.
They were all bad.
They were all bad. So over that summer, though, like right before recording this EP, it's like end of high school and like over the summer, like I had these and I was like, dude, I should write some more.
Yeah.
And that is when I wrote Mississippi Magnolia.
Okay.
Right before
So-
you came.
Yeah.
To MTSU.
So like that song, and like people can quote me on this, but like that song was a fluke. Like the fact that I wrote that good of a song that early on, like that, it was like not me. It was
Just kinda came
something
out of
else.
nowhere.
Something else was like working through me.
Oh yeah.
Something not, you know what I mean? Because the other 5 songs that I had,
It's a Southern Soul boy.
like the other 5 songs that I had to my name, like they all suck. Like I can't stand one of them, and it's not like I just think they're bad because like I wrote them. Like I've had people tell me like,
practice too.
yeah,
It's
like,
like
hey,
after
they're
the
not that good.
repetition.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's after the repetition too of
So,
doing
yeah,
it. Like
yeah.
something's got to come. I mean, it's just like I've done that too. Like just like I remember specific a beat that I made early on, and I was getting like I found this guy to make me videos in my hometown, like take some pictures for me. And I thought I was real fucking cool. And
I remember seeing those in the video.
Dude, you haven't seen the OG video. He took like a video of me walking up the stairs.
I've
and,
seen the OG video,
you have with
bro.
my shoes and everything.
Yes.
Damn,
I've
son,
seen
I
that.
showed you everything.
I've
Damn,
seen
can I
that.
get that Dropbox link?
Dude, yeah, I'll show you. It's pretty cool. But the beat on it, set. It was fire. I'll never forget it. And it was like these horns, and I know it was a loop that I found, but I figured out how, like, for the longest time I wouldn't make beats out of anything that I couldn't personally play.
Yeah.
But I made this one beat that had this drum loop on it, or this horn loop on it, and it was like sounded pretty epic. And then I chopped it up at the end of it, and it was like dun, 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 and then he edited the video to it, and I was just like, dude, how did I make this beat? Like, how? Because when he heard it, he was freaking out too. He's like, this is fire, and all my other shit was trash.
Yeah.
Trash. So
Yeah,
I used
dude.
that beat for the video, but like I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
It's just
exactly,
like
dude.
sometimes
Like-
like all of a sudden it's just like, oh shit, this came out of nowhere.
Yeah, well, so then I wrote that song, like, the way that it is on my EP right now is the way I wrote it when I was 18. Yeah.
And
The
you
order
said
that you wrote them?
yesterday you rewrote one of the songs.
No. Today. Before I
Today.
came here, I
Okay.
rewrote the bridge to Highway.
For any specific reason?
I never liked it to begin with, but I knew that
So
song.
the song we played on part 1, you don't like the bridge.
I don't like the lyrics to the bridge. I like the melody and I like the chord progression, and I just changed it slightly. But yeah, like I that song needed a bridge to tie it all together.
Yeah.
But I just put those words there as like filler, and then I never got around to finishing it before we recorded, so I just threw those on there, and I
Damn.
rewrote them today. But Mississippi Magnolia, the way that it is right now and the way that I perform it, pretty much is the exact way I wrote it. Like, the lyrics that I wrote the first time on paper were the final lyrics. Like, there are no edits on that song.
Yeah.
And that's just pretty crazy because, like, almost every song, like, you go back and you edit, oh, hey, this would actually be better and whatever.
Right.
And there's some things I'll try different at shows, like little things like, oh, do I like this or that?
That's
but
fun,
But, like, the
too.
structural integrity of the song
Yeah.
has not changed in now, like, 5 years.
That's nice.
You know,
Yeah,
since I wrote it, 4 or 5 years since I wrote it. So I recorded the EP. I came to college. I dropped the EP. I went home to do an EP show, and the guitar player from the old band who showed no emotion
Mm-hmm.
and my girlfriend who sings, like, we were in choir together
Okay.
in high school and stuff. And, like, she sang at church, and I just, like, sang and played at church. And so, like, I asked her, and, like, we did the Drake Freeman band. And we added, like, it was a 5-piece.
Yeah.
I played guitar player. Jake played bass, and he sang harmonies. And my girlfriend, like, sang harmonies and, like, did, like, tambourine and shaker, like, kind of Fleetwood Mac-esque.
Yeah.
Where, like, you know, we did more, like, harmonies, Eagles, kind of. It was
Right,
fun. It was
yeah.
cool. It was cool. So I started, like, a band. And my freshman year up here, I was still going back to Atlanta, like, once a month to play with my band.
Oh shit.
And I was, like, booking gigs so that I could go back there and, like, make some money and, like...
Is that when did we all have that class together? Like that the one where we like all
Business
freshmen?
class.
That
Yeah,
would have
a
been, like,
business class
second
together, right?
semester, my
Were
freshman
you still
year.
doing that at that time? Because I know
So when I...
You're a freshman?
Yeah,
Damn. You just always seemed older to me for some reason.
thank you.
You're
It's
welcome.
something I pride myself
yeah,
on
and
a
I
little
remember
bit.
the short hair.
I think it was.
Yeah, I had
think
short
it
hair at
was
the
you were
time.
just held together. Yeah, dude, I remember you came with a
Also,
fresh cut.
also, that was like my transition between, like, I still kind of had
You
to
were
stick up
still,
my ass.
yeah, you were still kind of
Not
frat boyish.
Not totally. Like, I was preppy. For
yeah,
sure.
you're
Yeah.
dude,
I grew up
preppy.
Dude,
for
I grew
sure.
up in the suburbs, dude.
Okay.
Like, I grew up in the burbs, man. Like, there were no weird people. Like, there were, but, like, there
Nah.
weren't, like, out there, like, hey, dude, like, you want to go smoke pot behind Kroger, man?
Yeah.
Like, we didn't have those people where I was from. You know what I mean?
We
Like,
did.
everybody, like,
we did.
no, I mean, I'm sure we did, but, like,
no, I'm
I
saying,
wasn't,
like we did, like I did where I grew up.
I mean, I'm sure there was, but, like, those weren't people I was associated with.
right.
So, like, when I came to college, like, it was a little different. Like, I got to spread my wings a little more, and, like,
Yeah.
that helped. And, like, I kind of was talking about, you know,
well, when you get thrown into just a sea,
a
of
new world. I
creative
knew
people,
nobody here.
it's
I knew
the cool-
I knew
that's-
Dylan Estes.
Dude, I didn't know anybody.
He was the only person I knew here.
When I moved here, I knew some people that weren't at MTSU, but I didn't know anybody.
Yeah.
And it was like the coolest thing. Like I met my roommates first, and within like the first 2 weeks, I met Dusty. Me and him became homies, and that was all she wrote. Like I pretty much hung out with him every day since. Pretty much. That's weird. Yeah, we pretty much
yeah.
hung out every day since then.
That's cool though. That's good though.
Oh,
almost
it's
4
so
Means it's a good-
dope.
Like 4 years now. Going
Yeah,
on 4
dude.
years.
That's
Yeah,
great.
well,
Like if there's
what, it
someone
was
that you can't do
14?
that.
it might be going on 5
It's going on
years.
5 because I moved
Yeah,
here.
that's
We moved here in
great.
14.
14, fall of 14.
Yeah.
So fall this year will
It was
be like-
July
Dude, that's
when we moved
dude,
in.
that's great.
And when I met Dusty, I don't know if I've said this on the podcast before, but when I met Dusty, this man, every time I saw him, he had a Miller Fortune. Every time. Because his roommates were over 21, so they could always buy him beer and shit.
Yeah.
So he had a Miller Fortune. This man, you could tell that he was fresh out of the house, like fresh out of high school too, because it was like he was like, I get to do what the fuck I want. And he would have a Miller Fortune and always had a button-up shirt, and it was always Hollister, and he had a pack of smokes in his pocket.
And that little pocket right there. Yeah.
Every time,
I
dude.
love
And
it.
this
Wore that
man
boy
would
out.
blaze like cigarettes and have a beer all the time. I was like, bro. And then he would like come around with his guitar and shit. And my roommate was like, yo, you got to meet this dude I met playing guitar down here in our building. And then he came over, and that's when he realized he didn't want to do out of your production. Like within the first month of being in school,
Oh,
you were
yeah,
like
easily
you
could
were
have
like,
been earlier.
yeah, fuck that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
But
Yeah.
okay, listen, this is where I think we're at about right now. First off, it's getting late.
Yeah.
It's late. It's definitely late for me. Second off, I want to have you back, and I want to have an excuse to have him back.
Yeah.
We've pretty much got your origin story.
Yeah,
for
I
the
mean,
most part.
Most
what
people
we
should
had
know me
left
from like
to
what
talk
happened
about.
in like college until
Yeah.
now.
Yeah,
I mean, there might be
anybody
some
around
stuff
here.
that people don't know, but like most stuff people
Well, we
probably know
got
because
people
like
that listen from. I mean, I got people that listen from back home. So like, we got people that have zero idea of who you are. at
college
all,
is
even
more
right now.
interesting.
So
Yeah.
that would be fun. And then maybe also like something to add a little flavor to. I want to have him on by himself, but I think it would also be fun to have Trey over and bullshit too.
Yeah, dude,
So like
it'd be
maybe
cool.
talk about like current stuff, or just have you back and just talk about like what's going on at the time, and
Yeah.
like also college. So
Yeah, we didn't even talk
if
about
you-
school, man.
Yeah,
yeah,
dude,
we
it's-
didn't talk
there's
about
a
school
lot.
really at
Dude,
all.
I've
But
had
this is
had a long music like career.
You
Like,
have.
it started.
Yeah.
It's funny too because we were talking like it started as a hobby.
Yeah.
Like I never thought it was gonna go that way, and then I was just like, hey man, I should do this.
I think that's
And
the
now
only
you're doing
right.
it.
I think for the most part, that's the correct way for people to start.
Yeah.
Like at least you have to have
That's
it to where
ideal.
it at least has to be that you like it enough to where if you're not getting paid for it, you would still do it.
Oh, dude, any
it
day.
has to be.
Any day, dude. If I go a
Anything
day
like
without
that-
playing music, it's a day I've wasted.
Yeah.
And I feel different.
Yeah.
Like I feel
Oh,
like
yeah.
I'm like, dude,
feel like empty.
yeah, like it's people like you know when you work out, man. You go a day without working out, you're like, dang,
Yeah, I didn't do today
I don't,
right.
yeah, I don't feel right. It's
Just how I
same
am.
with
If I go a
music,
day
man.
without
It's like,
eggs, like dude.
yeah, dude, it becomes part of your routine.
Yep.
You
Yep.
know what I mean?
Yep. And
It's-
routine's key. Routine is key.
Dude, it is, man.
So the actually I
yeah,
don't
give me your song so I can
remember-
talk
So-
about it.
I don't
So,
remember the title of it. Do you?
Home Alone.
Oh
Home
yes.
Alone.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
picked
that's
Home Alone, and I
fire.
picked that because like
I'm gonna cue
you
it
know
up.
it's
Go
a
ahead.
song. It's a song that I feel like I could just listen to continuously because
Thank
like
you.
I love the groove, and it's just like the sections are different but
Yeah.
not too different.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain, and I can't wait for him to play it again so I can hear it again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just really like the tone of your voice in this song, and like I know you mentioned earlier, and I don't know if this was on the podcast or like during our last break where you said that on this EP, like it was each song was recorded like by different people.
By different people
Yeah.
and stuff. Like it was more of a compilation style.
Yeah.
Just because like I had songs I'd recorded over time that like weren't all the same people, but I wanted to all put them out on one project.
Yeah, kind
Um,
of like a mixtape.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going with. Like I just think it was kind of a cool idea, and not a lot of people do it. And I'm not a huge artist, but Home Alone was like the one new song that like nobody had heard.
I love
The
that,
other
yeah.
4 songs that are on there, like we had at least gigged out, so people who had seen like the band
They
had heard 'em.
recognize them, yeah.
But
yeah.
that was like the one new song. To shout it out, I wrote it with Chandler Mills Brown, formerly of New Suede, currently of
New Sway Goose Honk.
Goose Honk.
Tell them
this
boys
is
we said
terrible.
what's up too.
They say, yeah, dude, I will. They're the homies. But Chandler,
sweet ass.
Chandler helped me write it, and there's a little instrumental breakdown. I have to credit to Trey Binkley. They're my homies. They like help me out on like a lot of my.
Yeah.
We're gonna have them on.
Like
at
a lot
some
of my
point. I talked to
music.
Chandler so many times about doing a podcast,
Yeah.
but we're actually gonna have New Suede on before they broke up. So unfortunately, we didn't get to have that.
Tragic.
Dude.
But yeah, so he helped me. He co-wrote this song with me, so I can't take all the credit. But this one was fun. This one is like I call this song my Atlanta song. It's
Okay.
everything that's influenced by Atlanta, like R&B, gospel, hip hop,
Definitely
country,
feel all that.
rock and roll,
ATL.
blues,
oh,
everything
there's
that.
some hip hop in there for sure.
Yeah, I grew up in Atlanta, and I was, like I said, I was preppy, but like I grew up around a lot of music, like a lot of different interesting music.
Well, Atlanta's just diverse.
It's a melting
man.
pot. So this song was like my
Melting pot
my
song.
Atlanta song.
Yeah.
That's what I call it.
Well, that's sweet.
So yeah, if you
And
like any of that, you'll like this song.
also, so tell people where they can find you on like Instagram.
Yeah. Okay.
Or whatever you use the most.
Instagram is going to be my main thing, at Drake Freeman with an underscore at the end. I'm trying to get the other Drake Freeman who
Have you talked
doesn't
to him?
use his account. Yeah, I've like tried to figure it out, but I just want to get but there's an underscore at the end. Check me out. It's like a cartoon of me leaning on a peach is the picture. I post videos of me singing, pictures of what's going on. If you like funny stuff, my Twitter handle is the same thing, at Drake Freeman underscore. I post stuff how I really
Staying
feel.
consistent,
So
I feel it.
if y'all don't want to know how my brain works, don't follow me on Twitter. And then I put, like, if you want to know where
You're
I'm
good
playing.
on Facebook too, right?
Yeah, Facebook, Drake Freeman, like just the name, like Drake Freeman Music, it'll probably pop up.
Isn't there an though?
It's like
you know what
at
it is?
Drake Freeman, like just straight up, or
Oh,
Drake Freeman
nice.
Music or something. Like it's
Okay.
all of them are like a cartoon picture of me. That's like my
Yeah.
my
It's like
brand
your
on.
Bitmoji or something.
Yeah, it's a Bitmoji. So Facebook, I post shows. If you want to know where I'm playing, I play not only in Nashville, I do tour around. So if I come to a city and you're listening to this, check it out. I'd love to meet you.
Or if
And-
you want him to come to a city.
yeah, hit me up.
Hit
I'd
him
love.
up.
I'll come to any city and play for real.
Nice.
Like I'll
be
find a way
fun.
to get there, and I have 2 EPs out on all streaming platforms and download and whatever. And I currently have some physical copies. If you come to a show,
Really?
Do you?
yeah.
Can I grab one?
Yeah, I'll get you one.
Dude, swag.
Yeah, I'll get a couple of them. Yeah, and if you come to a show and you're nice to me, I might just give it to you. So
Hell yeah.
check them out.
Thanks again for coming, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
We
dude.
appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for
And,
having me.
It's been a
ton of
great-
fun.
Yeah,
Almost
it's been
3
cool, man.
hours.
Yeah, just
It goes by so fast.
no, it
man.
does, because I mean, it's like
Little wrist, big foot.
you can just talk about
What
anything.
I'm
you know?
Yeah, you really can.
Hell yeah.
But
Shred it.
We'll have to have you on again soon.
Yeah, man.
Definitely will.
Anytime.
yeah, and we'll have to also thank our sponsors, Strong Body,
Strong Body.
Shot Audio, and Amp Entertainment. Yeah,
And this
and
is-
Drake Freeman for coming on.
Home Alone.
Is somebody gonna tell me where it all went wrong? Yeah, my baby gonna let me in a not so happy home. I knew what I was getting in, and then I got a little too deep. And I'm down on my knees, just a begging, baby, begging you, please. Is somebody gonna tell me, tell me, tell me? Girl, I hope that you know, 'cause I don't, and I know that